Hey guys, so today we are here with Ben and Wanjiru from the Joyride podcast.
Yes, sir.
Finally.
Finally,
But then tumekuwa tukipanga podcast ingine hapa yenye kama hata iliacha.
Podcast.
Let it go.
1 year of being a Wabosha saying, "Do not need good video next week."
Next week.
Then we meet at another event. The podcast video.
Yes, it happens.
Yeah, but
Let it go.
let it go. But before we get into the letter, we're going to start off by playing the Joyride game.
Okay.
Okay, so mtaniongoza hapa.
Yeah. It's basically. Do you remember Omopika Box?
Yeah.
Oh, for real? Oh, sorry.
It's an Omopika box then.
But you just pick a random card. It has a question in it. We've seen these ones. We've seen these questions before because we played them with the first Joyride live experience. So you've not seen them.
Yeah.
So you just pick a random card, then you make sure you answer the question.
You'll need to bare your soul.
Everyone answers. Yenye umepick is yours.
Everyone answers.
Everyone answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll need to shuffle.
So we just click
Just
them
like
in
the
there.
casino. It's true. It's Mazars.
We'll give Wabosha.
Yeah,
Wait,
the
okay,
honors.
this way. So you pick any. You could shuffle, you could pick any.
Okay.
I'm the best. Girl.
And that's the question you answer, Wabosha. See the way you're looking at it like that?
That's the question.
That's the one.
You answer.
That's the one
Wow,
you
wow,
can't
wow.
escape.
Okay. In the context of love and relationships, do you believe in the one?
Tell us, Wabosha.
Like you can really put someone on the spot here.
Okay. I don't believe in the one.
Yeah.
I believe in the one that you choose. Okay, I don't believe love is something, it's a choice. Yeah. So, kama ni huyu the one is because you have chosen to be with them and you've chosen to love them.
Yeah.
Not that the universe has intended for you two to be together.
One
Yeah.
person.
I think I agree also. I don't think there's one specific person who's the one. I think you choose the person for yourself and you make that person for yourself.
That's the same thing that we actually answered on this episode. We said that you create the one for yourself. So you start with that journey together.
We're in agreement.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. What did I remember? What I said? Ben. Okay, this one is specific to Ben and I. So Wabosha won't be able to play it.
The way I was here, like,
Oh, okay. In hindsight, at what age do you think you truly developed the ability to love romantically? Are there relationships that you claimed you loved the person, but in hindsight, it was not love?
Let's give our guest there.
It's our host.
Sorry. Our host.
At what age do you develop ability to love romantically?
Yeah. Alafu, are there relationships that you claimed you loved the person, but in hindsight, it was not love?
Let me start with B as I go to A.
Okay.
I think when you say you love someone, at that point, the love is what you know it to be at that stage of your life, and even at that point in your relationship. Because I feel like there are people who they meet and 2 weeks later wanambiana I love you. It might not mean I love you, I'll die for you, but it's love for what love is at that
time
2-week period of time. Part A, at what age? Romantic.
Romance. Your poems.
That's it makes me think of the kids. Unajua watoto wakienda class 1 nini unarudi unasema uko na boyfriend girlfriend. So is that really romantic? Ama ni ameona kwa
la mujer de
alafu unaanza kufeel to feeling.
That's a hard question. I feel like it varies. Maybe it varies from one person to the next.
Yeah.
Also, maybe to do with also emotional maturity, emotional intelligence. Some people might develop faster than others.
Yeah.
I
don't know if I have an age. Like I realized, my first. Oh, that's weird because you're here. I claim to love you, but I want to retract my statement. When I first met you, that's when I know. But I don't know if there's an age I can remember because I've been in I've been in relationships before Ben. But I don't know if I could call them like, because now what I feel for Ben, I don't think it's the same thing that I was feeling for those guys.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're special. Hugs. But yeah, so I don't know if there was a specific age I can remember other than you. Yeah. So maybe I can say my earliest was you.
You guys have brilliant answers. You guys are quite
What about
smart, you know? I think in hindsight, yes, there were a lot of relationships where I told people I love them and I don't think. Because me, I was very quick to say I love you. Like, day 3 of texting, like, hey, miss you so much.
Love you.
Love you. But you don't think that was still love? Like, you loved them, you just... Like I said, you are not going to die for them and like do.
But see now, love. I think love is now going the whole shebang. Like you can die for someone.
It has to be really.
So
deep.
I think it was first maybe peer pressure just to show the other guy.
Just to say you said I love you.
Yeah, or just to show that you're already in a relationship. Like there was a phase of my life where the relationships I didn't take them that serious. So there's that. And then at what age? I think when you start knowing yourself and knowing what you like, what you also don't like. So as soon as you're able to, some people can do that at 16, others 18, others 24, others 30, man. Some people just finesse through life. So until you're self-aware of yourself, I think that's now the right age for you to know what you love and what you don't love.
Yeah.
Wow, guys.
You actually feel it. So it's... If they're specific to us, we can't answer them.
No, this is not specific to us. So, our Wabosha is another question. In your experience, do you think love and pain go hand in hand?
Mr. Kimapenzi Teseka.
I know.
I don't want it. Why? Why does it have to
be
like?
suffer?
Love is supposed to be such a beautiful thing. So come on, I'm in pain, and then majority of the time, let it go, please.
Yeah. As well, I don't think it shouldn't go hand in hand.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is like a slogan for toxic people.
Yeah. Dear Ben and Wanjiru, you have just started your relationship and there's so much promise in both your eyes. The world is literally your oyster, and in your minds, there's no limit to what you can achieve. You have big dreams, shared dreams, and individual dreams.
Currently, you're working on a pitch for a TV show together, and you're so optimistic because more than ever, you're confident in your shared purpose, and there's resolve that this and everything that you set your hearts to sail through. And when your vision is clear, the road will get bumpy. So bumpy, buckle up. The TV show that you're so certain of will not go through. Ouch. They will probably not read your pitch. You will need some more lessons in a good pitch. How?
The shared dreams won't be so linear. You will need to ground yourself in all facets of life as individuals first. Your journeys will be so different from each other that will be particularly difficult for you and Jiro, because you will need to show up for yourself and Ben as he tries to figure himself out as an all-rounded human being and as he finds his voice in the incredibly difficult music industry.
Extend grace to each other. Ben, Wanjiru will need all the affirmation she can get as she wrestles with accepting failure.
And to younger Wanjiru, Ben will need your unconditional support. Even when you don't get it, support it. And while you're at it, some therapy will help you guys tremendously. Individual therapy.
As you ride out the difficult years, it will get better. The shared dreams, that will happen.
Not as a TV show, but as a digital show. The Joyride podcast.
And that, the podcast will be your labor of love. You'll grow together even more. You'll make more money together. You'll impact lives.
As all this happen, never forget, support each other unconditionally, extend grace to each other, and have fun while at it. Love, Wanjiru and Ben.
Okay, so Ben and Wanjiru, you guys are the first couple that we are having here on the Joyride.
Thank you.
At you on the Joyride.
To my younger self.
To my younger self.
Yeah.
And I just want to find out, how was the process of writing the letter for both of you guys? You know, since it's a joint letter, it's being written separately. Will you discuss kwanza and then you wrote it? How did it go?
We were looking back to see how far we've come and some of the milestones we've achieved. And I think writing down the letter just made me more grateful and a bit emotional, you know, just seeing how far you've come and overcoming the obstacles that you never thought you'd overcome.
Yeah.
It was quite emotional.
I think for me, it was also just a place of reflection, because to think about what we had wanted to do so many years back and how hard it was back then because nobody cared. And then now to have been able to do it, not in the same way that we wanted.
Yeah.
It was really reflective. Yeah, it puts you in a very reflective space. Yeah.
And before we even get into it, I have to confess, me, I'm such a huge fan of like you guys individually. When I started watching YouTube videos, when your channel was actually one of the first ones I watched.
Wabosha. I'm also a big fan of yours.
And I remember the first one I watched, I think you guys had gone to the Mara. And your
yes,
sisters were
family.
there.
Yes.
I remembered, and then of course I learned about Ben when he used to come to your channel.
Yes.
And then he started the Psycho podcast, and I used to listen religiously.
I remember I saw your comment at that time. I was like, "This is it, guys. We made it. We are the deep state."
So now when you guys came together and gave us the Joyride podcast, in love.
Thank you.
I just want to find out how was it like for both of you being so vulnerable and sharing about your relationship, because I know season 1 especially was centered about your relationship. So how was that like for you guys?
I think it was difficult for me because I'm naturally a guarded person, but then I ended up being someone who doesn't really have walls. So for me, it was trying to reconcile who I am as an individual and also like trying to just open up a little bit, because human beings at the end of the day relate with authenticity, with that place of like, if you just share your story, you find 1 or 2 people relate, and that's how you're able to build a community. So for me, it was difficult. It still is difficult, but what do you do? Yeah.
I mean, it was also a tricky part for me because naturally I'm not like a very emotional person. Like my wife,
I thought you were going to say like you're a guarded person.
My wife is always complaining that. So I've come a long way in trying to be in touch with different aspects of myself. But season 1 was hard, but when I started seeing the impact that it's making on people, I was like, you know what, this is a bit hard, but we can push ourselves. Sharing our own experiences in different facets of life was just an encouragement to a lot of people who are going through the same thing. So you eventually realize that we're all stuck in one way or the other, or we're all having the same insecurities in one way or the other. And that's just what made me continue just growing in the space.
Yeah.
Season 2 is a bit easier now.
Yeah. And how would you say it affected your relationship?
I don't think it affected our relationship, thankfully. I think because even as we've said in the letter, like we had to learn earlier on how to support each other. So, and I think now that when we came to doing the Joyride, and maybe for you it was different. For me, it never felt like there was ever a problem or it ever took a strain on our relationship because we'd already set the groundwork for it. For you.
Even positively, you don't think it maybe?
I think it brought. I was focusing on the negative. I have to learn to be a better human being. But even like I think it brought us super, super close. And I think I got to learn, Ben, even working together, there's some things you learn and you're like,
you didn't know that.
I want to pinch your ears.
Is that smart?
No.
It's like positives, surely.
Okay.
That's the brief for Wabosha.
Okay, yeah. So there's so many things that you learn, which are good. And of course, you get to spend so much time together, and he's a fun human being to be around.
Yeah.
You?
It didn't change the dynamics of our relationship, but also there's some measures that we had to take to ensure that it doesn't. Because you see, this is what happens when a couple, I don't know if it happens to other people as well, when you go online, people sometimes tend to take sides. They're like, maybe they feel the guy more or they feel the chick more. And sometimes they also have their own picture of how a relationship is supposed to be. So when they see that you're kind of doing it different, they will project their idea on you. So if you're not, if you don't believe in your union first, people will try and shape your narrative. So people come up sometimes and tell me to be a man more, or sometimes people just come up and say,
like to your face?
No, people send me funny DMs like that. The last DM was like, hey Ben, I mean you should unafaa kuacha kuanua nguo. Yeah, for real. You need to be a lion. I've never seen my dad akianua nguo. It's like you need to be a lion. Nguruma. I'm like, wow, Kaimara. And so when people give you such opinions, you either have to be very solidly grounded in what you believe in, or they will start shaping who you are. And if you start going with the public, you're already lost and confused because you can't please every single person.
True.
First of all, there's a ton of people who believe in whatever you're doing. Then there's a small group that sometimes tend to be very loud in your mind. So yeah, we just had to be very grounded from the onset before we let opinions come and shape us.
Now that is even online.
Yeah.
But then you guys went ahead and did the live show.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, because Wambari has been trying to be like, let us make yourself needs a live show. And I'm like,
But I think you do. It will be so
nerve-wracking.
No, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But once you get on stage, you forget your problems and then you remember them once you get off that stage.
I mean, you should have seen us on the first live experience.
Yeah.
CPR. When are you alive? Oh man, we're almost losing him,
Yeah, but
Wambari did so much work for us before we went on. Wambari was the last person we spoke with before we went on stage. It's because of how tense we were.
Yeah.
But with time, you start warming up to the crowd, to the people, because they're just there to show love.
Yeah.
They genuinely love what you do. So
exactly.
when are the dates?
Come on. And I think everyone in the comment section should put pressure on Wabosha to do a
live experience.
At the end of this season.
We shall discuss that. But then now, how was that different? Like being open online, you can go behind, tell Justin a cut there,
edit,
cut there, But live, it's now extremely raw. How was the difference between the two?
I think for me, the questions first of all were not, because the trick with the Joyride is you don't see the question. Even for the live experience, you actually just see the questions on stage
for the first time.
So luckily, the questions weren't so bad, so that helps. And then it's about, for me, I because I'm still so guarded, I still went up with my walls just a little bit. Maybe it's a coping mechanism. Maybe by the 5th live show, I'll be doing better. I'll be open. So I think for me, that was a coping mechanism. Yeah. For you?
One thing I've learned about this life experiences for Wabosha is that people are not coming to see anything different from what you do. And this is where Wambari works. That point really clicked. They're not coming to see you become maybe an acrobat, or maybe at this one time, maybe you will sing a song or do. You see, whatever we do here is what they want to do. They want to come see on stage. So that took a while for me to sink in. But once I got on stage, I was like, just do the show the way you normally do it. And that just helps you to sail through it without a lot of pressure. It's just, they want the same thing they see at home.
Because they already love that.
They already love that. So don't change it, especially on the day of, So when I have that mindset, I just go with that and it works. Gives me some courage.
Yeah.
Some.
And as a couple, before the live experience, how does your routine look like? Like before the show, during the show, after the show?
So I think for Nairobi Cinema and Daystar, was it different?
It was not so different.
Not so different. So obviously you get ready, and then now we usually have our sound check at around 11 before the show goes live, and before people start coming in, and then we are just hauled into a room where we just sit and think about our lives and think about, why am I doing this? It's like, is there a way I can get out of this? Can Ben take one for the team and just do this live show alone? That's basically me.
Yeah.
Starts from the previous night with Barack sending the flow of the day. Then on the day, probably at around 10, 11, he'll send the first text. Mko wapi? And send another one at 10:30. Mnataka kuniua.
Actually, this last live show, Ben, you didn't have clothes. You went shopping that morning.
Wow.
Yeah,
like of you,
it was like ambitious. I like that.
Life for them. Sometimes. So mostly it's a simple day. Wanjiru normally spends most of her time just preparing. She has like these people who are one's working on her hair, on her face, on her what. It's like a ton of it's like a garage. So we metoka to kuoga and just buy outfits and go to the show. Mine is pretty simple. But of course, when you're backstage, you're just trying to be silent, just to absorb every single thing. And you keep asking yourself, why did you set yourself up?
Yeah. Actually, the hardest part is usually just calming down. Yeah. Like once me calm down, like
that's it. Everything else flows.
And I don't fall, I'm good. Let's continue.
Now that even story ya nguo was brought up here, kuna mtu alienda akanunua nguo zake peke yake.
Achazoea mtu mwingine. Who could it be?
I wonder.
Just being open and vulnerable.
So clearly there's disagreements here and there. And then again, another thing is that a lot of us don't have to be with our co-workers a lot of the time. Like once we live here, Justin, we only talk show days. Once we live here, we're probably not even going to talk again. But you guys, you're married and you have to be together a lot. So how is it like working with someone, carrying the bag with someone who you see so often?
I think for me, I like to spend time with him, so it works to my advantage. But one thing I've realized, and I'm hoping we can work on better, is we spend a lot of time. So you think when you're spending time, you're actually spending quality time together, but you realize we're spending a majority of the time talking either about Joyride, talking about his work, talking about my work, but it's not really about our relationship. So that's something I feel like we could cultivate more. Thank you. Thank you.
I think we do. But anyway, that's
not to the we could do it like 110%.
Working together is interesting. I think we also get, because we have different working habits. So there's a way Wanjiru works, there's a way I work. She's very like super organized, like military kind of organized. You know, like it's like we wake up in the morning with a serious alarm. I kind of try and take things a bit easy. So whenever the pressure is too much, I'm the one she will rely on to
blow up something.
And to balance the situation. But also when I want something done in quick and done well, she will take the lead on that. So we
complement each other.
Yeah, we have different working cultures.
Yeah.
What would you say is like the most challenging part
of working together?
Yeah.
To make us and
you still have to show up.
So most times we even have to talk about it. Like, let's say we have a shoot. And then that's the day that the devil decided to use one shoot for the living. There are days when the devil is sent to somebody.
Oh, uses me?
Yeah, you know,
me?
The devil uses one shoot sometimes to push all the battles that I have, possibly all of them, even the ones that I didn't know existed. So sometimes we have, before we do something, we're like, okay, now let's just address this, because our work also depends on our chemistry.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to fake chemistry. You will notice it. You know? And we rarely say that we'll just fake it for the show, then afterwards we go back to being...
it's always fixed.
It pushes us to solve these conflicts, which is something I never used to like.
Yeah,
I don't like solving conflicts sometimes. Like, tuweke tu chini ya maji.
Yeah.
Just to
Ama kaende.
Just lenga the whole vibe.
Yeah.
So you'd say for conflict resolution before, like when you have to get into a shoot, it's basically just communicating. You talk it out right before, and then you go in.
Yeah. What's your problem with me?
Yeah, it's forced us to do that, because I know there's so many times when the crew is coming and I know we are angry at each other, we just call ourselves into the bedroom and say, okay, what's your problem? What's my problem? Let's fix this now. We have to go shoot.
And then you're able to let it go, alafu mnaendelea.
Sometimes you can feel like a temporary bandage, you know, like it can work temporarily, you know, until like after the show, you're like, so some people pick up feelings even after we had discussed about it before, and you know, and I don't know what you think about it.
No, but I think for most we are able to solve, unless it was like a big issue, we pick it up. But also I've noticed something in our relationship, that when we are both quick to apologize to each other, the other person lets it go faster. Why do you keep it? You're a liar.
Okay, so now most of your letters centered around life before Joyride. So maybe let's move to that section a bit. So you guys met KU a couple of years ago, and now you're married for
10 months.
10 months.
Wow! High five
to the T. So how long did you guys date before getting married?
7 years.
7? Oh yeah, that's a lot.
I keep on doing that math. It can't be 7 years.
6.
25, 6 years.
6 years. 6 years. Yeah.
And when you look at your lives right now, Ben, you have a TV show with Nyarira, you have your own clothing line. Is it what you imagined it would be those many years ago?
I mean, you go first.
Okay, thank you. You thought I'd throw it back. It's what I desired. I just never thought they would all come together, because I do so many things. And you know, at that time, everybody's telling me you can't be a jack of all trades. That means you'll be a master of none, you know?
Yeah.
And so for a long time, I used to suppress a lot of those other areas of my giftings. and I've gotten to a point where I'm not shy about exploring different parts of my life, because I'm starting to see they support each other and they in one way or the other. So doing podcasting, having a TV show, doing music, having a podcast production company, all those things, they just marry each other in one way or the other. So yeah, it's something I desired. I just didn't think it would come to pass
all at once.
Yeah.
I think for me it's a bit different. I thought I would do the corporate life, but life has a funny way of just like changing everything up, and I'm happy. I think it's the thing that you didn't know you needed, but you actually got exactly what you needed. So I believe I'm right where I'm meant to be. Yeah.
Okay, but then now at the time there's the TV show.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it? The TV show.
Back then,
I think it
was mine.
It was yours, yeah.
It was mine to push Wanjiru more. So at that time, Wanjiru, what you were doing, if I don't know if you can remember, you were a moderator. So there was a gig I even came to watch you moderate or something like that at BSSC.
In KU?
Yeah.
We hadn't started dating.
Yes, so we had not started dating, but I came to watch you.
Yeah. No, I was trying to get into media because I didn't want to do corporate, but I was trying to get into media,
Yeah, she tried getting into media. Then and then she started her YouTube channel.
Yeah, and that's when you came with your friend. You remember? Who was a DJ at that same station. So Ben was like, because he already had a show, so why don't we, because you're trying to get into media, why don't we join forces?
Yeah, he didn't even have a show. He just lives inside KU.
Oh!
They can grasp me to every stroke of desperation. Mina Shitunda KU, so I can take you. Like, oh, that's all you have to do.
That's what happened.
Yeah. He have a show there. He just used to live inside KU. So we thought like maybe they have like a WhatsApp group in Nyumba Kumi, maybe they talk, like, hey, there's somebody here. Yeah, you know. And so we went with him. Safe to say it didn't work out at all.
What was the name of the TV show?
Did we have a name? I can't remember the name. But all I remember is we wrote a huge Word document about the TV show and what we envisioned it to be.
I think that's the proposal where we started with the evolving of media.
Yeah.
So people started talking through smoke. They went through newspaper. They went to television with one channel.
Even I wouldn't have given this a TV show.
I'm so sorry. The person that proposal. It was like 42
and if you
pages,
didn't read it, good for you.
42 pages. I thought the more detailed you are, the more serious corporate you take.
Yeah.
We started with how people used to send messengers.
And now we're in the digital era.
Wait, that's what the show was about?
No, the proposal. I think the show was like a youth show.
Yeah.
Like a pop. Was like
a pop culture-ish
music, gossip, the whole setup was there.
Kind of show.
But stuck with proposal, just before we get to that point, we start by telling you how far media has come. You know? Like, the smoke, messengers, letters, radio, TV. Then on TV we were like one channel, which was VOK, which we start at this time, close at this time. But now we're evolving, and now we have Cygnus, it's digital,
It was really bad.
Hey. None of those guys were talking about it. Every time we follow up on what's the problem. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it was bad.
And at what point did you realize, you know what, we might not be getting this show?
Oh, they never responded.
Yeah. Even the DJ, I think, stopped talking to you at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I was like,
because we were following up through him.
Yeah,
to get the response.
He got another job at another radio station. That's when he was like sign number 1. Go where you wanted. So we had to
say. But then now you're on TV.
Yeah.
So does it feel like the dream was somehow fulfilled?
I mean, yes, it's starting to shape up, and it's interesting because they're the ones who called me for it. Like I had already given up on TV dreams. Like I had done so many auditions. I knew the different cameramen who are mostly also the media houses.
Because he wanted to be on TV so bad, he'd even done acting.
I even tried acting.
I don't think those guys ever called me.
Oh, they never called me, man. I thought I gave it my all.
It was
I was really shouting at
like TV.
Yeah, it was like a movie they were shooting. I felt like, hey, this is my opportunity. And then, I even had the script ready of how, me and Lito were too. I didn't think I was going to get it, and then I got it, I didn't get it at all. So
even a callback.
Yeah, never. So that was terrible, man.
Yeah.
I also tried out a couple of other TV shows. A lot of them. Like I knew cameramen. I still know a lot of cameramen in the media house because nimeona sana. Like yeah, bro. So when I got this one, it was like a dream come true, and I was so grateful for it. And I just believe it's also the beginning because I would also want to do different kind of shows, maybe like talk shows or car shows or just shows that are outside the norm. So I feel like we are just getting started.
I've actually gone for one of those auditions. This is a TV.
For acting? Oh, for TV.
And they give you the script. First of all, I was like, why have you given me the script like right before I enter? And then you get there, the lights are also hot. But
it's just too much.
But now the difference is after what I did in the army, I was not expecting anyone to call.
You were like,
you were like,
I was like, hey. But you know what? The next one, now I know what to expect.
Did you try out these TV shows while you were famous? It was before.
No, it was after.
After you're famous?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was after. I said I was called in, but first of all, it was even a health and fitness show, and if you know me.
What you guys do? What about me?
We really...
Did you ever call them back for feedback?
No, I didn't even bother. Actually, let me tell you a funny story. As I was leaving, one of the people who were working there was like, hey, unaona kuna mrembo anakuja kuwaka hapa. And the other one said, au tunawaonanga nyingi. They don't ever come back. And I was like, wow. So Now, Wanjiru, do you still have dreams of being on TV?
I think for me, that has changed. I'm not really interested. I'm happy with the Joyride. I'm happy to go digital and just business. I think I'm still living out like my business life. It might not be the corporate that you think, but at least it's the business
still
life.
Business. So now the TV show that has failed, is that the point where Wanjiru you got deep into content and Ben you're focusing now on your music?
I think so. But even for me, content also took a dip. There was a time I didn't really focus on that. And so I had to go look for other gigs to make money. And so I toyed around with the idea of content. I did it like half-heartedly until that business also closed down. And then I've gone through a lot of business closures in my life.
Every time you get into an organization, like, we are about to wind up.
Thank you so much. But it's time for us to close down. We are closing our operations. And so that's when I deep dived into content. Kabisa. Yeah. For you?
Yeah.
Ben has always done music.
Yeah, first I've never stopped focusing on music. Like since the day I started doing music in 2011, I always used to give music 100%. It's like that. It's like that girl I used to hit on, but she never liked me back, and I did everything for her, for years. So even this time when Joyride is trying out YouTube, I'm still trying out a lot of music. Me, I'm just thinking, at the end of the YouTube video, Joyride was not open for the idea. I was very offended. I was like, what do you mean? Is the music this bad, She's really warmed up to like accepting them into the channel, and it was not out of any bad blood. But yes, I was still doing music. All throughout, I was always focusing on the music. So even when I was on her channel, my hope was that people would get to know me so that they can get to know the songs.
The music.
Yeah, it was like, tukimaliza video, I'm only coming if you're going to put my song in the
description.
Yeah, when you're a musician, you're used to giving people your new music, so you see those artists that people make fun of. People always giving out new music. That was me for the long time. Like even at art, there was one time we had an activation at a club and I had like CDs in my bag. So I'd see like TV producers and I'd take to them like, you want to play me? And one of them just laughed me off. He just laughed and he didn't take the CD.
I
still meet him and he's such a huge fan. He was like, what do you forgot?
But like now at this point, because I feel like during the TV show, the dream almost looked like it was aligned and it was almost similar, but then now with content and music, they sort of start to separate. How do you still remain grounded with like sort of different goals?
I think it was, I don't know how it was for you, but I think it was difficult for me in the sense that content, there was a way you could reap faster in terms of financial gain compared to music. So for Ben, he's been grinding for so long, but then here comes me with his Samsung J5. I'm even using his devices. I don't even care, and I'm reaping faster. So I felt my heart broke for him, because if to know Ben is to know that don't come in between him and his music. Like he's going to sacrifice anything to get his music to work. So for me, it was difficult to see that.
Yeah. It was a very interesting period, because now after I've started doing YouTube videos with Wanjiru, I'm starting to notice another group demographic noticing me on the streets. For example, when I went to her channel, now people at village markets, Westlands, like most of the times it was in Umo, Huru, it was really fun, So and I started noticing that I have two audiences. There's one group that knows me as a content creator. They don't know I sing at all. And then there's a group that knows me as a musician, and they don't know what those YouTube things that I do. Some media people will DM me like, hey man, umekabila kutoa mziki, punguza modeling, I don't forget that, punguza modeling, Yeah, and that's when now content creation was picking up. And I was like, we don't have a lot of guys doing this, so maybe if I keep grinding, maybe at some point itajipa. So I used to look at your campaigns, man, and Wabosha has like 15 clients who are waiting, all of them, to be featured on the next video. So you've pitched to every single client, I've sent
because used to write 42 dogs.
Yeah, I've sent DMs to so many clients. So there are some clients who even call me for campaigns. Then go thread when I go up or do. I see in 2018 I was there hey, my name is Ben. I really want to work with you guys. So. But the beauty about that is that later on in future now, people now know me for both. So the music, the content, the podcast, they all come together. And there are not so many people in our industry who are known for different things to all together. So now I have other musicians coming to me for advice. So how do you balance this two? It's a war zone, man. Before you get the balance, you go through a lot of changes in your life. Yeah.
And Ben, Wanjiru, in what ways do you feel like you had to show up for Ben during that period?
I think, as he said, at that time, as a human being, as Wanjiru, his music was not my kind of music, and that's fine. But you also just have to let him go through his motions and figure himself creatively. And I think that's what I had to do. You just keep on telling him hey, I think you're doing really great. Just keep going. Even when to you, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And I think you just keep doing it until he finds his footing. And I think that's all I could have done.
And what did that make you feel like during that period?
I mean, I never used to take it personal that she's not. I mean, I was in KU hanging out with so many friends who never used to know my songs. And I never used to catch feelings. In fact, I always used to see it as an opportunity to grow. Why are these people not so interested in me? Even when we'd go out and they're jamming to other songs, I'd sometimes ask myself, so why do you like that artist so much? To me, it was more of a research opportunity. And she will tell you now, even when I just have demos, when she was always fighting for my demos, just to listen to them. Sometimes I have to tell her to stop playing those demos around me so much, because I've listened to these songs so many times in studio. So now I don't want to listen to it. I want to listen to it with a fresh mind, maybe after a week. So, and now I've seen how even people around me are all fans of the music. So it's a journey, but I used that opportunity because at first I used to catch feelings. And then I saw people catch feelings, I decided. So I just asked them straight up, so why do you listen to this? Why don't you listen to that? And over time, it gave me a lot of perspective on how to create better. Yeah.
Wanjiru, in the letter you talk about a period where you needed constant reassurance. What, I don't know if it was feelings of perceived failure. What was going on during that period?
I think I keep saying because of the school systems that I went to, you're always told you have to be number one. So when you're not number one, you start to see yourself as a failure. And I think that's what happened to me, because I came from always being grilled that you have to be number one. And then now when you're not number one, you are not failing, and I like how you've put it, perceived failure, because it's just a perception that you have. You're not really failing, but you perceive to be failure. It was one of the most, I still contend with that till date. It's like a journey that I'm on,
And did you at the time communicate this to Ben, that you needed reassurance?
I didn't think I knew. I knew that I was not number one, and that was a problem. So I think after time, after a lot of professional help, that's when you start to realize, oh, it's just a perception in my mind. So even I couldn't communicate because I didn't know. Yeah.
And for you, Ben, did you know? Did you somehow figure it out?
That she needed assurance?
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, I used to take her content to like media bigwigs just to ask them for feedback. And even when she's not authorized, I do it. I used to give her ideas like, how about now tunataka kuhit makambo? I don't know if you remember. I told her, let's print out posters of yourself, of your face. And then hapo chini tuandika subscribe. You know, like, when she reduce YouTube channel, her face, like an A3, and the cost of the A3, tutazika KU kwa billboard. Then we go to kwa notice board, we go to JQuad, go to SIU. I was like, if we have 1,000 posters and we take all those posters across all these universities, they will definitely know her and she'll know her. She didn't like that idea. She hated it.
Which is weird because we're not doing a campus tour.
Yeah, we're doing a campus tour.
We're on billboard.
What would you tell your younger self if you had to go back about failure?
I think it's all in your mind. That it's you don't always have to be number one, and when you're not number one, it doesn't mean that you failed. It would be that, And
Wanjiru says at that time, she needed the constant reassurance. For you at that time, what do you think you needed from Wanjiru?
To put your song as a track.
That's all I needed, man. By the way, that's all I needed. Like, just try and push the music out there, because eventually the music grows wings and now starts going to people you don't know, people you've never heard of. So at that time, maybe it's just that the plugging, that's all I needed at that time.
And you guys talk a lot about giving each other grace and supporting each other unconditionally. How does that look like for you guys? Unconditional support.
I think for me it's when even I don't understand what Ben is trying to do. I remember there was a song Ben was trying to shoot, and we were in the car. I'm not even going to mention it. And we were in the car with
that song views by then. Every time you diss it.
And I remember we were in the car with Nyawera, and I remember looking because the car was tinted and Ben was just doing his performance shots. And I remember telling Nyawera, I have no idea what this guy is trying to do. I don't understand this song. And Nyawera asked me, what are we going to do? And I told Nyawera, we're just going to support.
But you guys told me it was fire.
That's called support. That's how support looks like. If we told you it was not, Ben, it would have crushed you.
I was already crushed by the industry. So
we were not going to be the ones to be
I was used to that.
No. And I think that's what support looked like.
Unconditional support. How does unconditional support look like for you?
At that time?
Even now.
I think it's just believing in the vision, even when you still don't. The same thing she said, to be honest. Even when you don't understand it too much. For example, there are times when you will have problems with Maua. Still when they're talking about designs, waste, mediums, what area. I also don't know I don't understand a lot of the intricacies, but sometimes you'll find me trying to figure out some of this stuff. Even not with her, sometimes even with her team, I just call them directly. I'm like, so what can we do now? Because she's so stressed inside the house. So I think it's when you believe in your partner's vision, even when they don't believe in it. Because I feel like sometimes I believe in, for example, Maua, more than she believes in Maua. We walk into some stores, even when we're in South Africa, I'd be like, do you think one day we're going to have an outlet like this? And she just doesn't see it. But on the other hand, I'm like,
checking people out.
No, counting the need profits on them.
They come directly to you. You tell me how much.
So it's unconditional belief in that.
So another method or another form of support that you guys talked about was therapy. So are you guys in therapy currently?
I am.
You are?
Yeah, I am.
So it's individually?
It's individual.
But we're starting together.
I hope we'll start.
Yeah.
When you're serious.
We're starting today. Yeah, but we're starting together.
And I don't know, not really in our generation, but like especially with our parents, there's usually some sort of negativity when it comes to therapy. Like there has to be a problem if you're going to therapy, or
must use drugs.
Counseling. Kuna kashida
Julie Vuta Bank or something like that.
For me, actually, I think about it like that. I think I just have trust issues because I look at them and I'm like, how am I sure? I want to go on TikTok and I hear. So there's this girl called Apple, and you listen to Apple's story.
And you're like,
story Apple. It sounds a bit like, but anyways, I'm trying to be a bit more open-minded about it. So who first brought up the idea of therapy?
That's when you. And here's why I think therapy is important. You see, doing music for all those years, what I didn't realize is that in as much as I kept thinking that I'm this strong person, it was crushing me in one way or the other.
The rejection.
Yeah. It was crushing me in one way or the other. So first of all, there was very little belief in my product. Like even when people would tell me they love my podcast, I'm just like, these clowns are just joking with me and they will go after a period of time. But for real, they loved it and it impacted their life. Another thing also, because of the frustration, I was very hot-tempered. And I never used to understand where this is coming from. But it's the frustration of trying to do something and it's not working and you're doing it for years. It starts to get to your head, So it's really not your fault. It's just the situation of how you, or the tension of whatever you're going through. So when I went for sessions is when I started understanding, by the way, I have a lot of unlearning to do. And there's a way I need to start embracing the person that I'm becoming and the products that I'm creating.
Why did you feel the need to bring it up?
Therapy? I think I started therapy for myself. And then when I changed therapists, that's when I said, I lied to Ben because I know he needed. The way he was acting, I knew he needed. So I lied to him. I was like,
he acting?
Crazy. Like I was screaming at night.
No, you can tell when your person needs a bit of help. And so that's when I lied to him, like, hey, I've paid for a session, but I am not available. Like something has come up. Do you want to take up my session? And that's how he ended up to therapy, and he's never looked back. But for me, I think my initial reason for going to therapy is we had gotten into the wedding season, and for some reason I couldn't commit to a date. So everyone was just asking me for a wedding date, and I couldn't give them a wedding date. And so I thought, if I can't even decide on when I want to get married, then maybe there are some things I need to unpack on why something as simple as setting a date could be so difficult to me. And that's how I started my journey there.
And how do you feel like the individual therapy that you guys did helped your relationship?
I think for me, it's the fact that we are two complete individuals coming together. So if I haven't dealt with my baggage and he hasn't dealt with his baggage, there's no way. Because we had first done couples therapy. She was talking too much and then it wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere. There was no way it could have worked. But out of that session, out of the 2 minutes she gave us to talk, it became apparent. Sorry. It became apparent.
She didn't me, for him.
For real?
And that's when I was like, I'm not doing this. From that session, it became apparent that we both had a lot of issues and we needed to solve them first and then come together. And so that's why.
For you, Ben, how has your individual therapy helped you in the relationship?
I think you start noticing changes in the individual lives as well. I can't even remember the last time I got into an altercation with anyone. That was my life. No, for you. For once in a while, I have to go to gas. Just throw bombs, throw fire.
Spice it up.
But with other people, I was so used to confrontations. Nowadays, somebody can just do something and I will just let it go. Kitambo, that for me was a sign of weakness. Like, what did you just do? I didn't realize that it just comes from a very toxic place. I think I used to see people who would let such things slide as weak, but I'm starting to see they're really smart. And maybe that's an example of how I've seen it help me change as an individual.
So the famous episode with the therapist, was that the first, let's say, complete therapy session. Now that ya ule wa kuongea mob didn't really work, was it the first couples therapy for you guys?
I wouldn't say it was the first because it was on camera. So I think we want to exploit away from camera. But it was the first time we have both away from that person for 2 minutes. It was the first time that we had therapy together. What a brilliant idea to have the cameras on, right? Wonderful.
But then
comments. They were not ready for the comments, eh?
I love
they came for what? They came for me. And then now they even came for the therapist.
No one was safe.
Cool as apple, nobody. They even came for the sound guy. Okay, the cameraman, everybody was getting something on that day. So, at least
it was fair.
It was fair. I really appreciate the people because it was fair. Everybody got a fair share. Okay, you got more.
Now that you guys sort of tried that couples therapy, what would you say you prefer, individually or like when you're together?
I think there's space for all because as individuals we are growing, but also like why I'm keen on now doing couples therapy together is that the more we work together, the more I'm realizing, okay, maybe we need some help in navigating like how Ben works or how I work, or even like conflict resolution, or just like how are we truly doing now that we are both working on ourselves? How is that helping our relationship?
I think both of them are important because the individual one, the individual one, we're not just talking about my relationship. In fact, we talk about other things more than we talk about my relationship. We talk about what I'm struggling with my content, with the music, where I'm at, why am I thinking the way I'm thinking. That's mostly what we tackle. So I think it's important to have a joint one as well, so that whenever you have small conflicts or just conflicts or whatever, how to handle each other, you tend to understand where this is coming from. It helps with the balance as well. So individual is important, really important, but I think the couples one, which you've not done a lot of times, is equally as important because but we still have some challenges that we need to solve
together. What can we expect next from Ben and Wanjiru? What's coming up? Tupe leakage.
Fire motto, big things.
Which Mr. Mchochezi atuambie.
No, we have a lot. We have a lot. We have the Joyride EP. We're going to be dropping a Joyride EP in December. We will be having the live experience again on 3rd of December. We have the campus tour that we're doing. We're going to start with 4 universities: USIU, KU, JQuad, MKU. Then after that, we might add more. But who knows? Just follow us so that you can know. And we have season 2, which will also have other couples, other people as well. Yeah, so far.
You have to say.
Come.
Come as you are. It's not just, we're not just going to have couples. Even before have we had anyone who not a couple?
We had the sisters who played.
Yeah, we've had sisters. It's not just couples, it's just for anyone who feels like.
So to come.
Stronger
different.
So I don't know if there's anything else I've left out.
Those are good.
Yeah. So
And in what ways do you feel like the Joyride has positively impacted the community around you guys?
I think it's because Joyride, what we do a lot is we push for a lot of wellness, being self-aware. And I think that's one of the things that we also try to make look, it's trendy and it's cool because for a long time, the things that are promoted that are toxic as what people tend to see as cool, but really those are not cool things at all. And you're not okay if some of you apply some of those toxic things. But so we just try and promote wellness and just to share whatever we're going through and just to make people feel like they're not alone.
I think that one would be for me, like you're not alone. Like you might think that you're the only one who wants your partner to cook, to also contribute equally to the home chores, but you're not alone. I'm here and I relate to that. So I think it's just that sense of like tuko pamoja in this. That.
Okay, so before we wind up, we normally do this thing where at the start you guys wrote a letter to like your younger selves. So now we need to leave a message for your future selves. Now that there's 2 of you guys at the same time, so I guess you can leave a letter for Ben
to his future self.
Okay. and then you can leave a letter for one
For
child.
her?
Yeah.
Okay. How long do you want the letter?
I see pages.
Oh, okay.
So we write it now?
No,
We just say it?
just saying it,
Just
yeah.
say it.
Okay. I think, Ben, I hope and I pray that you continue to believe in yourself the same way that you believe in yourself. Because truly, the way you see yourself and the dreams that you have for yourself, even about government and all those things that you want to do in your later years, that they'll all come to pass. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is just to say.
Let me hear this. Let me see.
Well, do you know I told you about these stores? I told you these stores were going to come to life. I don't know why you were doubting me.
These toes.
Stores.
Oh.
What was
Okay.
Maduka.
Oh, this is Maduka.
Yeah, this Maduka. I told you they were going to come to life. I told you your team will grow. And here we are now. Look at your brand and look at the impact that you're making in the society. Just keep trusting God and keep believing in the visions that He has put in your heart and keep pursuing them.
Wow. Thank
I
you.
know, that was so sweet.
That was so sweet.
What's that?
You're absolutely, because you believe in yourself.
No,
That's so
it's
cute.
Okay.
That's so cute, right? Yeah.
Sijaicheka hivi kwa episode moja. Nitaka mbele.
If you want Wabosha over on the Joyride, let us know in the comment section what you'd like to see her talk about.
Yeah, please blow that comment section. Like, share this video. Annoy her on Instagram. Until she comes, because it's going to be a very fun episode.
Yeah.
And then, before we even end, and I say bye, this Joyride game, is it on sale? Like, can people buy? Because I'm thinking it can be such a nice game night.
Yeah, the game is up for sale.
I'd also like to ask, tell me more about that game.
Yes, we're selling this game. We've not finished printing these games. Just follow the Joyride, and then we're gonna streamline our merchandising department. Let me just be honest, we've not streamlined our merchandising department.
We're working on it.
We try to balance so many things, we forget about merchandising, and that's a bad thing. And we're so sorry. We will work on it.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming, guys.
Thank you for having us.
I really enjoyed the episode, and
Thank
bye,
you for
guys.
having us.
Bye.